Welcome to my channel Class Winner by Shri Shyam Books, All India #1 skill books publisher. Hey everyone, so today we are going to go way beyond just the physical poses on the mat. We are diving deep into the very heart of yoga, the ancient philosophical texts where this incredible practice actually began. I mean, you see yoga everywhere now, right? In parks, in studios, all over your social media feed. But have you ever stopped to wonder where the original guidebooks are? You know, the ancient wisdom that maps out the path of yoga, not just for the body, but for the mind and spirit too? Well, we are going to explore 4 of those foundational texts, what I like to call yoga's ancient blueprints. Each one gives us a totally unique perspective, one for the mind, one for how to act in the world, and a couple for the physical body. Let's see how they all fit together. Okay, first up, Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. Now I want you to think of this not as a story, but as a really precise, detailed map for understanding and ultimately mastering your own mind. And here's the first big surprise for a lot of people. This core text, it's not really about physical postures at all. It's a seriously profound guide to psychology. Now look at this number, 196. That's it. The entire massive philosophy is made up of just 196 of what are called sutras. It's unbelievably concise. And every single one of those short phrases is just packed with meaning. So what exactly is a sutra? Well, it's a short, powerful statement, kind of like an aphorism. The word itself actually means thread. The idea is that each one is a thread of knowledge that you can meditate on to unlock a much, much deeper understanding. It's like wisdom in its most concentrated form. And the way it's organized is just brilliant. The sutras are broken down into 4 chapters, or padas. It starts by defining the goal, like what is the state of yoga really? Then it gives you the practical path to get there, talks about some of the benefits you might experience along the way. And finally, it discusses the ultimate state of liberation or freedom. It's a complete journey for the mind, start to finish. Okay, so let's move on to our next guidebook, the Bhagavad Gita. If the sutras are a map for our inner world, the Gita is a guide for navigating the outer world. This isn't about running away from your life to find peace. It's about finding peace right in the middle of life's biggest, messiest challenges. And the entire text takes place in this incredibly dramatic setting. It's a conversation between a warrior prince, Arjuna, who's having this massive crisis of conscience, and his guide, Lord Krishna, right on a battlefield, moments before a huge war is about to begin. Talk about spirituality under pressure. At the heart of the Gita is this powerful idea of karma yoga. It teaches us to act, to do our duties with our full focus and to the best of our ability, but, and this is the key part, to let go of our attachment to the results, whether that means success or failure. Alright, so we've explored the mind and our actions in the world. Now let's turn to the body, the Hatha Yoga texts. These are the practical how-to manuals. This is where we finally get those detailed instructions for the physical side of the practice that we are so familiar with today. And here we have 2 of the key ones, the Hatha Pratipika and the Garanda Sanhita, which came a bit later. You can think of them as field guides for the body. But here's another little insight that might surprise you. These early manuals describe only a small handful of postures compared to the hundreds we see today. Their main goal wasn't a workout. It was to prepare the body for deep stillness and meditation. So when you see someone practicing specific yoga postures or doing breathing exercises, the instructions for many of those practices can be traced right back to these very texts. They are literally the original source code for using physical discipline to bring the body and mind into harmony. So now for the really cool part. Let's put it all together. Because these guidebooks, they aren't meant to be separate. They actually form a single interconnected system for living a complete and truly balanced life. This table just lays it out so clearly. You've got Patanjali Sutras giving us the blueprint for the mind. The Bhagavad Gita gives us the wisdom for our actions out in the world. And the Hatha texts give us the techniques for the physical body. Mind, action, and body. It's all there. And that is the ultimate takeaway. Real yoga, the way it's described in these foundational texts, isn't just about becoming more flexible. It's a complete system designed to integrate every single part of who we are, to unite our inner state of mind with our outer actions in the world. So as we wrap things up, I'll just leave you with this question. Now that you've seen these ancient blueprints, one for the mind, one for action, and one for the body, which one sparks your curiosity the most? If you had to pick one to crack open first, which guidebook would it be?
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, share, subscribe.